Okay, oh, to see me go see me. Okay, so 1, 2, ready. Turn it up. Got it all back down from last time. Too loud in your ear. Hey.
Yeah.
Be here, man. Another week of cocktails and conversation, baby.
Thank y'all for joining us.
We want to reach down and get lifted. Man, I was watching that show the other day. If y'all have not watched Half Baked, if you're old enough, go watch Samson. Weed man. So anyhow, turn it off, man. It's always not needed sometimes. Actually, it's a little segue into it, real quick. So we here this week. We're back joined with, you know what? Who are we this week?
Sound like she opened the old door.
I'm Chloe Bailey.
Hey.
No. I don't want to take fun out of it. Even though I give a name, it's gonna be changed anyway.
Yes, it is.
My name is.
What's that girl? Apollonia?
I'm doing what my grandmother called me.
Apollonia?
Okay.
Whispering Sunflower.
Okay.
Mother Nature and dread like bumble.
She was Indian. Leave her alone. It's part of the
Okay.
tribe.
Sunflower seeds.
Whispering Sunflower.
Okay.
Mother
All right.
Nature.
So I want to go ahead and start this up because
you know,
uh,
this is brother to the brother of the night, Brother Yusuf Muhammad Yam's creation.
AKA Jameson.
y'all already know it's me, Tim Hargrove. Just hit my head on the table.
Sitting low.
Tim Hargrove, Dark Shining Light, y'all.
Darkness, everybody!
Yes,
Darkness!
yes, yes.
That's my moniker.
Yes, yes, yes. I gotta get me a moniker.
Y'all check us
Ears,
out.
my nigga, ears.
We talking about social media?
No, what I really wanted to talk about was unplugging from
Okay,
the
good.
Matrix.
Okay.
And that's whether it's social media, whether it's your circle, whatever it is that Matrix for you, unplugging away. And a lot of times, a lot of us are so engaged into everything and everybody. It could be, an interesting thing is I would like we got someone whose mom had to step away. You know what I'm saying? We have some of us who, for instance,
For
when I was growing up, we went to Sunday school at church, Sunday school, children's church, Bible study, revival. What else we had? We had
all on the same day?
None. Like all throughout the week. We was there like every day but a Tuesday. And sometimes you just got to get away.
You got to get away. I got to get away. That's my jam right there. Right.
I really wanted to talk about the benefits to getting away from everything.
Bruh.
And so I wanted to talk to you guys because, sometimes, come on, step on up. Whisper Willow.
Okay. That's Grandma Willow. I know.
Got the background matching too. Whispering Willow, the birds coming for you.
It keeps defaulting to sounds. I don't know why it keeps doing it. I think that's so pretty. Okay, anyway.
So we're talking about unplugging from the Matrix, and the Matrix is just life itself, I guess. Again, I spoke about this last show as she's getting herself prepared. How I admire Weeping Willow over here for her ability to detach from social media quite often, and even though I'm in marketing and that is you have to be on these things nowadays. I take time. I'm glad for programs like the Hootsuite and Facebook marketing and everything that you could program stuff out. It gives you time to detach.
Yeah.
So with that, we have the expert detacher herself.
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds, Willow Smith over here. She wants to embark on this path of detachment.
The reason why I choose to detach or step away or just have a mental break, as y'all know, I've been doing that for a long time. I'd be on social media one day, and then like the very next 20 seconds, I'd be done deactivating my account. I'm like, what crap happened? The reason why I deactivated it this time is because I'm hiding from somebody. So Weeping Willow is hiding behind a tree right now. From a stain on the shirt. So that's the reason why I detached. But then the reason why I normally do it is because I know that sometimes I will get on social media and I caught myself, I scrolled for 4 hours straight. I got on at 9 and I got off at 1. And I was like, yo, I just did like a whole half a day. And I was just like literally scrolling, sending stuff, smiling, laughing, texting, scrolling up, video chatting, smiling. I did everything under the sun that you could do on Instagram in 4 hours. Reload the page, and I realized, like, okay, this is probably a form of depression. This is probably a form of anxiety at this point, and it was my anxiety. So, yeah, it literally was.
I got one for you.
What?
I said this to Tim the other day. This is another show we're gonna have. Mm-hmm. This may not be for you, but you said depression for you, and it's not even you. 'Cause you don't think you're depressed that day. When a man can't find meaning, he finds distraction.
Yes, that is very much so true.
So that's
Nothing
something
to do.
I've been.
I'm gonna find what everybody else is doing. And I'm like, wow, that looks like a lot of fun. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that too. I wish I could do that too. But for me, when I detach or whatever, I think naturally, since I know how to detach from like family, they'll tell you like I'll disappear for a couple of days and be like, okay, are you okay? What's going on?
Where do you go?
I just don't respond. Like I literally sometimes would put my phone literally in do not disturb in sleep mode. And if I put it in sleep mode, it's that way for like 2 or 3 days.
No, I thought you meant like you disappeared, like left the house.
Oh no, not leave the house.
Like a
but
magic
just,
trick.
Right.
just because we have group chats and we're so active in the group chat that we're in, it's just like, okay, wait, where is everybody? And then sometimes you look up and had nobody said nothing for like the whole week.
Yeah.
And then you're like, dang, I didn't realize that. But no, my whole point, to get back to the topic, my whole point in like, getting off social media sometimes is because of the fact that I see it literally causing me anxiety. And I'm like, I got off of Snapchat because I found it to be useless. Snapchat is like a whole nother world outside just by itself. It's really weird. Facebook I can handle because my family's on there, but that's what I got off of was Facebook. Instagram, that's that little sucker right there. That's the one that'll suck you in. So I have to be like really mindful of what I do. But I basically just get off of there just for my mental health. Like I have to. Like I have to. When I feel like, if I feel myself getting ready to like, I go on there, I look, like I watched in real time yesterday when I went on Facebook, I was scrolling and I was good. Then I came across podcasts that I used to be a part of and them getting deals with companies. And I literally started crying. I was like, I'm supposed to be a part of that. And I got really depressed. And I got really pissed off and I got really upset. And then when I get upset, I find myself texting people from the podcast. And if nobody respond, then I get even more upset. Then I'm crying even more because now I feel rejected. And rejection is a trigger. So
it'll start to take over like reality.
It literally takes over.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I'm sad and I'm crying for 2 days straight because of that. And that has happened so many times. And it'll give me a panic attack.
Can I jump real quick? It's nice off, but it's a little part of that thing. I've discovered, again, go back to like our last show, thing that you wish you would have known back then. God does things for a reason. Mm-hmm. You may not always agree with the reason that he's doing it, and you may not always understand it when he's doing it, but in the future it comes together. Mm-hmm. Minister Farrakhan always says, look for the hand of God in everything. And even with the other podcasts and them growing, you don't know the situation they have to deal with as they're growing.
Yeah.
And I look at it like this. This is why the 4, 16, 12 of us that even came together with this, I look at it as a selective group because we are in the like minds so that it'll work as we grow. Then we can go out and see, because, girl, I'm working on something for us for next year. I just got another thing implement. This is going to blow up in ways that it has a lasting and longing effect because we're not playing into a trend. Thank you very much, Mrs. Sunshine Anderson. Without playing into a trend that allows you to either grow or die. We just set in our own path. Just, going with that detachment. It's the reason why, again, knowing yourself. We have to, you know what, I'm good. I got to step back for a second. Yeah. Detachment. But we got Dreadlock.
Yeah, Holly Berry. Come on over here.
I used to.
Oh, yeah, I forgot she had locks.
You did?
Yeah, she
used to have locks.
Right there.
What happened?
She combed them out.
You combed them or cut them?
She combed them out.
I have to see these pictures.
Sure, I'll show you.
Okay.
They're on Facebook, which is the evil thing we're talking about getting of it.
Yeah, unplugging from the Matrix.
Unplugging. Well, as you're sitting here saying that, I was thinking about, I think people in our age group, and I think the world in general kind of, but more so people in our age group, because we saw the beginning of social media, as we were coming into college.
Oh, yeah.
Some of us were just finishing high school when Facebook started, and we couldn't wait to have that college email address so we could finally get on Facebook. That was back when, if you weren't in college, you could not be on Facebook before it opened up for everybody. But now I think we're experiencing a social media fatigue.
Yeah.
Because what social media used to be back then, it was magical. It was wow, it's this place where I can meet all these different people, or I can connect with my friends in different ways. I can see people from high school. And my mother can't see. Man, there are some pictures that I had to go in and hide in my Facebook.
See? There it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially with Black Planet and MySpace.
Right.
So, it was social media for a time was this magical kind of thing. It was new.
Yeah.
It was just a way to share and grow with people who you cared about. But then it started to shift. And, people weren't just posting just pictures of their food anymore. They were tailoring what they were posting.
Yeah.
Because they started getting that dopamine hit from when you get likes.
Yeah.
There's a whole science into that.
Yes.
It became social engineering.
Yes, social engineering. So now your stuff has to be polished, and you can't post anything bad that's going on for several reasons, which I tend to agree with a little bit. But it's got us in this loop where we're comparing ourselves to what we see now. And it's a big source of depression and anxiety for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And I'll say even for me, where, I have my own ways that I deal with my anxieties. But definitely social media has been a thing that's just I have to step back from. I don't go as far as Blissful Flower over here and completely deactivate. I have deactivated maybe one time. I don't really deactivate. I don't really block people unless it's spam. But there's some times where I do just kind of have to just step away. If I notice that I'm scrolling a little bit too much, and I find myself in a loop, I'm no. There's some times where I even had to unfollow Shade Room because sites
a lot of times it gets so negative.
Yeah.
I've seen where social media just takes a whole left turn and they go, oh, it's an algorithm. But a lot of times that's not what we're trying to feed ourselves. And they say, oh, it's what you're but we know that they engineer things a certain way so that they can have images shown to you. I know before we actually got back, started recording, what's your name again? Chloe Berry was saying, well, we was talking about how we have to really protect our children and the younger generation from what they actually see and what they're exposed to. But a lot of times we don't realize that we're in that same demographic that's being fed and being shown things that are inappropriate for our own development. And, just being able to detach from something like that is very important because it becomes like a drug. A lot of people say, man, I can quit anytime that I want to. Well, people say that about social media as well. You know, well, it's not really affecting me like that. But just like Sunflower Seed was saying, like, you know, she was on there for 4 hours and didn't realize, you know, that's a half a work day.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very significant amount of time.
There is this, I don't know what you even call a person. There's this man, anyhow, he was did the speech. He was like, you know, he was giving the statistics of the use of social media and the bad part, how he get messed up. He said, those who are successful, he said, the first thing that you do determines how your day is going to go.
Yeah.
What do you do when you first get up in the morning? And he started asking questions. People started raising their hands. And then one of the comments was, check your social media. And a good half of the room raised their hand. And then he asked them about their productivity throughout the rest of the day. And it wasn't as productive.
Yeah.
He said, you know, you don't start your day with prayer, thanking God. You don't start your day with doing these other things. You start your day being connected to something that's false.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're setting up your day. Again, we're not judging in this because, again, like Keita did 4 hours. I think I did like 2. I sat, but I did mine weirdly. I was sitting on the toilet.
Sesame seed.
2 hours on the toilet?
Didn't even know. You just sit up there just
Your legs were dead.
numb. Got up and fell at the same time.
Right.
Got up and fell. Just sitting there. One of them days. Anyhow, but the whole thing.
But you know, a lot of people can relate because we're saying social media, but people do the same thing with television.
Right.
You know,
Binge
which is
watching.
pretty much the first social electronic thing that we were looking at, and everyone was connected to either their show or the news. And if you didn't have these electronics on and someone was just observing you, you're just staring into nothing. You know, and things that are being affected on you are things that are not actually going on around you. And so, you know, if you were someone who could not see the electronic like some, you know, animals do, they just see you staring at a spot. But, you know, I think it's important for us not to just talk about social media unplugging. Like I was saying before, some of us have to unplug from our families. You know, I really want to talk about that because sometimes, and without incriminating yourself and being tactful, but there are certain family members that we have that they have us in the system and they only see you in one position. Oh, you just little tink. And go right ahead.
Hold on. Names have been chosen names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Protect the integrity.
Law and order.
Man, darn it, Mike skit just popped in my head. But anyway,
Go ahead and tell it.
When my therapist said, weeping little Willie, you can love your family.
Little Willie.
You can love your family and not like your family. That was a word.
That's true.
Let me tell y'all something. So I had a brother pass away, and I found out that at my brother's funeral, I found out from my sister's best friend. He walked up and said in a drunken voice during the repast, he walked up and said, "You want to know why your sister doesn't try to have a relationship with you and talk to you?" And I was like, "Why?"
Be tactful.
She only sees you as if you're 5 years old. And she said that since you don't have any kids, that she's not going to really look at you as an adult until you have kids. So that's the reason why she doesn't talk to you.
Wow.
Oh, I said, okay. I never addressed it because we already hadn't really had a relationship like that. So, but a part of me always wanted to ask. But the support is there, you know, from time to time, you know, if I invite her to something or whatever. But then when it comes down to the other people that I share blood with that are siblings.
Family.
But family. I keep my distance.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love them, but I keep my distance. Like, I heard one of them downstairs right below me calling my name 3 times a day. I ain't say nothing. And they were like, "Guess she's asleep." I was not asleep. I didn't want to talk. Well, I didn't want to talk to them. And it's just gotten to the point now where so much has transpired over the past couple of years that it's just awkward, so I'd rather not force it. And I find myself being like, darn, I feel like I need to go back to therapy for this because, But yesterday I found myself when another one came, I have a lot of siblings. When another one came over, they came over and I actually went outside and I went in for a hug and they said, I've been sick. And I'm like, why are you here? But that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, sometimes you have to detach yourself from family because Lord knows I had a moment back in December. I opened up, everybody was like, how's everybody been doing? We hadn't seen each other. It's been COVID. You hadn't seen some family members in 3 or a couple of years. And I opened up and I said, I've been suicidal. I cleared the room. And I went home. And that's literally what it felt like. Oh, okay, well, we hope you get better. She's weird. Walk off. Hadn't heard nothing back from them people at all. And it caused me to be
supposed to be family.
It's supposed to be family. But the flip side of it was the next day I talked to a family member and they said, well, the reason why everybody walked off because they didn't know what to say. And you hit a trigger, you hit a trauma. I said, well, dang, I had to realize that none of the people in our family have ever had therapy. Except for me and except for like 1 or 2 other folks. But those other 2 people weren't there.
And you know what? A lot of times we're expecting something of the world. Yeah. First of all, I really want to go back to like you made a point about
you out of someone else.
Exactly. Because in the same thing, like we talked about with social media, we're looking at something that isn't real. And a lot of times our family are looking through us through a lens that does not exist anymore. They're assigning a role to you. The last time they saw you, you were 12 years old, and now you're in your 30s. And some people still view you in the position that they saw you instead of you being who you are.
Hell, your parents do that to you on a regular basis.
Church.
Yeah.
Your parents will look at you. I have a friend who's millionaire, many times over. He's not a friend. This is one of my mentors. And I went around him and his mother. His mother slapped the shit out of him.
Okay, how much money you got? Pow!
Right.
That might have been my mama.
Right. And I'm looking at this like, whoo.
You still day to me.
Right. That's what she said. Like, you still says, like, don't be getting out of line of my house. He said nothing.
Yeah.
Because what you want is still your mama attend that. But it's just the fact that you may not change in someone else's eyes.
Yeah.
So at some point, you kind of have to let that go. But with other people, you don't.
Yeah.
Like, I've learned detachment. If you continue to look at me in the way that I go even further. Shout out to my son's mother. One day, long time ago, we had a disagreement on the phone. And she said something to me to the fact of, oh, that ain't you. I know you yourself. You the same person. I was like, I'm not. We broke up like 18 years ago.
I'm a completely
different person. Says, Dan, what are you talking about? But that's just, people look at you the same way. And
that's the lens. That's the only way that they really know you.
Yeah. That's because the way they're comfortable knowing you.
Exactly.
I like that one. Little sunshine blue flower over here. Giving some little seasoning to this. Come on.
Exactly. Come on, Megan Good. It was another one that she was... whatever your name is.
Blueberry Hill.
Blueberry Hill? Where's this fruit coming from?
She the one that wanted to be
She said Chloe Bailey.
Oh, I thought she said Halle Berry.
But you started thinking of Bailey's Irish cream. Are you thinking of ice cream?
A movie star. Somebody that's famous. Step on up here. Grab your Oscar. Or Grammy. Or whatever you... No, but honestly, I wanted to get your take on... Because we have spoken offline and online. We've spoken about like different organizations that you have to unplug from, whether it be like, and I also specifically want to talk about church, because a lot of people don't even understand that they're in a matrix or a social group, and everything's all about that church or that organization, or whether it's a sorority or fraternity. But I specifically wanted to talk about church.
Yeah, like something like, church and, really strict religion, it can suck you in and it can become your entire life. And, you know, some would say, oh, that's what it's supposed to be if you're serving the Lord. And, you know, okay, on the one hand, yeah, that might be true. But when does it go? Sometimes it can go from serving the Lord to serving man.
Someone else.
Yeah.
And you're serving somebody else's
Purpose and agenda.
Yes, purpose. Yeah.
And they're an ego.
Yes.
Ooh, it's even better.
And
ego.
you have to have some strong enough discernment to know when you're realizing that that's happening and when to pull back.
Exactly.
And not let your
went
mind
from drinking
just-
the Kool-Aid to serving it.
Right, yeah. You got to know when to detach from that.
Yeah.
Can I throw some season on that? Because
Not in the Kool-Aid. You got some sugar.
I got new flavor. So the Kool-Aid. There was Muslim Nation of Islam, and those who listen, if you don't know, keep living. People join the Nation of Islam. Folks be like, y'all niggas that joined the cult. Y'all over there got your head wrapped, selling bean pies now. Y'all niggas is crazy. When somebody first joins the nation, if you don't have a family member that's joined the Nation of Islam, talk to somebody. It's funny, the stuff that they go through. Minister Farrakhan says that he specifically talked about the Nation of Islam, but he's also, I think you can put this in church and everything else. He says the house is a hospital. We're all in here to get better.
Yeah.
Because we're all sick. But the problem is, we just said the other week, sometimes the doctors are sick too. They don't even know they're sick.
That's true.
So you're in here in the church, the house of worship, to get better. However, the person that's supposed to be ministering you is messed up. So this will cause a problem with Mrs. Miss Doubtfire, or I say Mrs. Lattimore, was saying that you go from serving the agenda of God to serving the agenda of an individual, and what he wants to do. And at that point, that's when you start seeing the rift in the house of God.
Yeah.
Where people start saying, I had to take a break. Because if you're really on the purpose, the lineage, the line, the mission of God, you need no break. You need no time to be getting away from him because you're getting replenished on a constant basis. It's like a flower saying, oh, I need to get out of the sun for a while. You know, I've had enough sun for... So what the hell you mean? You're a flower. This is how you get your nourishment. So if you get to that point of you have to step away, it needs to be a reassessment of the house.
Yeah.
Because someone has...
You might be in freshwater and saltwater.
Ooh. Look at
Freshwater fish just sitting in the wrong environment.
Right.
And a lot of times we look at organizations and people lose themselves. You know, when you lose yourself in anything, you know, and you become you become like Agent Smith in the Matrix.
I know you're talking about.
You know, and now everyone's an agent.
The Anderson.
It's same way social media can be like that and church can be like that. Now you're just, you know, flock member 3,776 instead of being yourself. You know, sunflower, a holly berry. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, dark shining light, a yams.
Right.
When you lose, it's the sense of the lost self. And people do that in relationships. They lose themselves.
Ooh.
You know, and they have to unplug. And so a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, we're unplugging from something, but we have to ask ourselves, what are we actually connected to? And why did we connect to it? You know, and so you can realize what it is that you're doing, because sometimes it's not the organization. Sometimes it really is us. You know, sometimes it's nothing wrong with your social media. It's how you're using it. And, you know, same thing with, you know, certain people get into fraternities and things like that. But it's important for us to understand who we are. And I think that unplugging is, I think that it's important and it's vital so that we're not overused or misused, because we have to understand ourselves. You can't really assess yourself in the midst of everyone else. Because when you're in the midst of everyone else, you're still going. you're still doing. They're still all a part. It distracts yourself from yourself. You know, one of the best beings ever existed, and people write about him all the time, Jesus. He unplugged from the Matrix all the time. He would go by himself.
Yes.
He would go by himself and pray.
Yes.
He would go by himself. A lot of times he would preach, and he would go all the way. He was sending his disciples off. I'll meet y'all on the other side. And here he comes walking on the water to the boat.
Right.
He would go and pray by himself, off, away from everyone else, and then come back and see everybody sleep.
Right.
Which is a metaphor in itself. Because a lot of times people are just sleepwalking.
Ooh.
You know, you look on social media and everyone is just droned out. You go on social media, everybody rich. Everybody taking trips every day.
Right.
Ain't nobody had a bad day. Their kids all got A's. They have brand new clothes every day. Everybody got a Maybach, a Lexus or something. You know what I'm saying? No one has it. You know, and it becomes sad to see people who actually are honest. And they go, okay, well, you guys are in the hospital. And people, they just looking for attention. Well, it depends on the person. Because we do know some folks who will take some pictures next to an EKG machine.
Right.
But it's not a real place because it's like you're on display, on show. And when people are constantly pretending and expecting that to be real, you know, because a lot of people especially young people, a lot of young people don't know the difference. They don't understand that this is not real. And what's becoming scary is that you have adults, fully developed adults, who are taking this persona that they have in social media and taking it to the real world and actually pretending to live a lifestyle that they don't actually live. And let's just be honest, it's 2023. The average rent is $1,700 in Alabama.
Damn.
I was reading that, you know,
Wow.
the average income in Atlanta is 40-something thousand, but the cost of living takes for you to make at least 60 to 80. So everywhere in the United States has become unaffordable. But people are still on social media and everybody going out every other weekend. And so we have to ask ourselves, who are we? We become Agent Smith. Everyone is trying to match everyone else to fit in this social world that's not real. And so, you know, at one point, people weren't keeping up with the Joneses. And now we're going right back to it. So it's important for a lot of people and everyone to understand. First, we have to be honest with ourselves and create the atmosphere that we want to live in, whether socially as well. But in order to do that, we have to detach.
And the detachment is beautiful because the detachment is knowing yourself.
Excuse me.
It's all good, my brother. The
All over
detachment
the
is
microphone.
the detachment is you're stepping away from the world and what they are making it and what you're perceiving it to be into the reality of which is you.
Yeah.
Because again, you may not be living in this luxurious life. You may be just living a normal life. And the normal life is actually better for you than that bull that you're putting online. You sit up here trying, like I said like this. I like to look at things when I'm let's be more specific. When I'm looking at pictures, I'm looking at videos, I like to see the background.
Yeah.
Because the background tells you a lot about what's going on also in the video and why it was made. So if you look at a lot of these social media, Instagram model stars and their nice luxurious houses, if you look in the background, most of them ain't got no furniture.
Yeah. Well, a lot of folks are only taking pictures in the bathroom.
Now, yeah. But, you know, to look at someone like you've got this luxurious life,
Yeah.
but you have no furniture in their life. So why you're living kind of above your means.
Exactly.
But those who do have the furniture, their posts are a little different from theirs also. So it's like you're showing off and this person is just showing.
Oh, man. You said a word right there.
Yeah.
Because some people just would like to share.
Right.
Or to keep the memories because they ain't got enough space in their phone.
So we share everybody, but I'm really sharing for myself. So, you know, it's the detachment is really for you to grow a better you. But if you don't know who you are in the beginning,
then you just
lost in the matrix of life. That's why so many of us enjoyed the Facebook. Again, when you don't find meaning, you look for distraction. You don't have the meaning in your life, so you go through the social media. And this again, why I always said, Mrs.
Doubtfire.
No, not Mrs. Doubtfire. It's Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Willow Trust over here. When she would detach from social media quite often, I've looked at over the years, and doing that, it got me to the point where I started doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And that's why I said the scheduling.
I'm glad to have been an inspiration.
Negative. So the scheduling allows me to step back and say, you know what? Just take in time for self. Because if you're steady trying to put things out there, if you go online, you hear people who want to be social media content creators. All of them in the beginning say the same thing. This is hard because you have to constantly come up with content.
Yeah.
But the content is what? It's taking you away from you and putting you into an imaginary bubble at that point.
That reminded me of Hallelujah. She was saying about the shade room and how she was,
I like that one. Wrapping them up, baby.
But she was saying about how like she had to disconnect from shade room because a lot of times, let's be honest, a lot of times everybody like a little ratchetness sometimes. Everybody like a little, and sometimes we're joining things and it's really fun. It's just light and it's humorous and it's entertaining. And then sometimes the same things that we're following because like you said, they just trying to come up with content. And some things just turn really dark really fast.
Real quick.
Yeah. Please, I want you to expand on that. Please, y'all tell me her name. I don't want to
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Right after you, I got a whole point after.
So I guess to expand on the shade room stuff or just these ratchet pages in general. Like I mean I don't know. Sometimes you just got to disconnect from them because it's 1 minute you could be looking at something that's funny and you share it, and then the next minute, then you go to the comments, and the comments.
Woo. Man.
The comment section. I mean, today
totally
people talk to each other. You don't know these people, and they talk to each other so dirty, so low, so anything that you might post as a comment and somebody else disagrees with. They're going in on you, in a way that you would never talk to this person if you saw them in person like that.
Like Mike Tyson said, some people just, they don't know what it's like to get punched in the mouth. Right.
Yes.
Some people, people are so mean to each other. I saw a post with Kev on stage. Shout out to Kev on stage. And he had posted something about the lady was just sharing. They were just sharing their relationship with their husband. Like, okay, we're enjoying each other every morning talking. And people was just going in, I can't just talk to my spouse. And it's like, what's wrong with y'all? People will share something that's very positive, and there will always be people in the comments who will say something. And I think that's just trying to be contrarian just to get a shock and being a troll. But it takes a toll. It really does. It makes you just don't want to look at comments sometimes.
Yeah.
Hallelujah, amen said something over here. Can I put a tambourine on hers real quick? Hallelujah, amen. You said about looking at it, and I'm keeping going. But, sometimes you have to disconnect because what is it feeding you? Yeah. It's fun. It's
they
cute,
call it a feed.
It's
they
a
actually
feed.
call it a feed. What
right.
is a feed?
Yeah,
but the thing is, a feed can be like, what are you feeding me? But we also give feed to what? Animals.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when we're looking at this stuff, the creators of these apps don't use them.
No.
None.
And they're telling the world that we did a terrible thing. Oh, God.
Something is pink, too. The anatomy class is pink. Don't forget about the pink. Come on.
No, go right ahead.
Come on, Mrs. Apollonia.
Apollonia.
Oh, apples and...
Who? Yeah, so Yanni sent me a video of somebody that was one of
we
my
use the real
favorite
names
people.
now.
Hallelujah, glory, amen.
Hallelujah, glory. He said my real name really don't feel bad. I'm sorry.
I didn't.
Yes, you
Man.
did. You said Keely thing you went into the thing. No,
Y'all
you
make
him.
terrible
He did it
street
the first
people.
time.
Hey,
He said
we got
Saturday.
busted real
We
quick.
said the game, boy.
Sorry, but
Joyful glory.
joyful glory here. JJG. JJG knows that there was somebody that I just simply adored. She was a little misunderstood, but she was very smart, intellectual young lady. She just chose to show it by twerking booty cheeks and peeing on people. And so Yanni sent me, the name rhymes with Hookie Hana.
Okay.
So long story short, Yanni sent me, I had previously followed Pluki Pana, and Glory, Hallelujah here did not know. This is so hard.
Her name is
Glory,
Dolores Van Cartier.
MJG
Dolores
or something.
Van Winkle did not.
Dolores Van Cartier. She from Sister Act.
Dolly Van Winkle did not know that I had unfollowed said popular mainstream underground rapper. So when she sent it to me, I said, "Oh, I unfollowed her." She go, "What? You unfollowed her?" I said, "Shit's getting out of control. It's becoming very disgusting. I have hit the point where I can't even defend this anymore. She likes to pee on herself and then bathe in her own urine. I really
God.
can't even
Oh, God.
There's nothing with this I can defend. And then we have somebody that rhymes with Pexy Pad that came out and made a song with old Hookie Hana. And so it was just kind of like, Lord Jesus, there's a junior version of this, and she's worse than Hookie Hana.
Nice.
Because Hookie Hana never once talked. Well,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
you see
okay.
how exhausted
Yes,
you just
Lord.
got?
But like I'm looking at like
That's the
because
whole-
it like y'all told me it's a dark side to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And you will fall into these holes.
Holes.
Yeah.
And one thing leads to another. TikTok will do that to you as well.
That's why I hadn't gotten into
No.
TikTok all the way.
Twitter.
Scrolling.
Yeah.
But TikTok does that?
Oh, yeah, Twitter.
Twitter is a hole.
I just keep saying I
That's
just got
an
on
abyss.
TikTok and I've been trying to figure out how to navigate this fully.
Well, one thing
I just
is
keep seeing
because
the
they can
same
be
6 people.
used. They can be used
Follow the
so positively. Like honestly, there's a lot of things on TikTok. You can learn some stuff on TikTok that you can't learn in school.
Yep. University.
In 30 seconds.
Google.
That is
University
true.
TikTok.
And sometimes you'll get into the worst conspiracy theory.
Right. That'll lead you into craziness too. So
That's a whole other thing.
Oh yeah.
We have this running joke when we're sharing videos. All right, you guys, time to get on the bus. The bus to hell. Don't laugh. Well, yeah, and next thing you know, you sitting there with Miss Frizzle, slowly burning
On
up.
the Magic School Bus.
Magic School Bus.
Going on a
burning
trip.
up,
okay,
like,
since we hitting the Magic School Bus,
pew, 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 pew,
I'm
pew.
gonna turn into Houdini real quick, and you're gonna turn into Rip Van Winkle.
Come on, Jameson.
So, in doing the
Name.
It's her.
in
It's
doing
her.
these my disappearing acts of detachment, how do you get our youth into doing this?
Well, I think that, like we said in a past episode, it's things that I wish that we knew when we were younger. It's to actually talk to them. You know, a lot of times, when you are not in their social media group, a lot of times it's the content that we create. Sometimes
It is
all of us get content that's coming from somebody who's not in our circle. Somebody who you would never meet. It's important for us if you care to, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you have a heart for youth, then make a video for the youth. Mm-hmm. Make a video addressing things that you wish you would have known, and to tell them to detach. Tell them, hey, turn that off. Turn it off for a second. Mm-hmm. Get to know yourself. Offer the advice. Like they say, be the light that you want to see. Mm. And for a lot of us, if we offer that, because you don't know who you would touch. A lot of people doing things for the amount, and they want so much. But if you get a lot of bullshit, all you have is shit. But if you touch that one person, even if it's one piece of gold, it's still gold. Mm-hmm. And one piece of gold is worth more than a bucket of shit. So if a whole bunch of people...
Unless it's cow manure.
Well, let's go. Let's define. That's dope. But let's look at it. A lot of people are doing things for views, and they just want to have likes. They just want someone to see it. But it's not how many see it; it's who sees it, and how it affects them. Like people say it all the time, man. If I can only touch that one person, but it's true. It might be somebody in your own circle. It might be that one person who viewed it and then they remembered it and they told somebody else. So it's important for us to reach out to the youth, reach out to our neighbors, reach out to our own children, our nephews, our nieces. And sometimes we got to reach out to people that we don't know. So since we're doing so much, we consume so much that we forget to provide. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at, this is a content creator. That takes nothing but to, turn on your phone, reverse the view, and speak from your heart. Yeah. Be tactful in what you say because it's out there forever.
Yes.
But if you have a heart, my thing is, if you have a passion for something, then let it show. If you have a passion for the youth, then speak to them. If you have a passion to older people, you will look. Don't open up that email from Nigeria. We need the content.
Click that link.
That's a whole nother...
If we want to see the change, we have to be it. We really have to be it. So when we come back to social media from our detachment, a lot of times we have to exit out those things. Like sometimes, let's unfollow this person because we have to remember you're always going to follow someone, but you have to determine who you follow. Like I was talking earlier before we recorded that I was subscribed to this group that I had no business, but they were so entertaining.
Right.
But then I had to ask myself a question. Why am I entertained by this?
Right.
And that's, I think that you can do things with moderation, but I have to moderate myself. I have to be the one to say, you know what, that's enough. I have to be the one to choose that. And when I'm reaching out to the youth, we have to teach them the lessons that we learned so that we can create a better tomorrow because it's just going to advance from here. We're looking at, to me, this is just the beginning of social media. We don't know what it's going to be like in the next 20 years, what things are going to be and how much more advanced things are. So if we teach the ones who are going to be building those things that are going to be in our place, they can create a better place for us to live when we've slowed down in our technology and our understanding, and when we're looking for things to go for our grandchildren.
Willy Wonka over here want to say something before
Me and my chocolate factory.
Yes.
I was just looking at something the other day. They were talking about my biggest thing that makes me sad is when I see kids on, like little kids on devices, and they were talking about how kids are coming out the womb, and by the time they're 1, their parents have already got them on social media and got them like right in the screen, and their eye development is slowing down. But they've been showing now that babies that are under the age of 2 or under the age of 1.5 years, their eyesight, their pupils they're weakening, and they're not being able, their eyesight is not strengthened anymore. And basically that a lot of the cells in their eyes have been burnt out. Their developmental cells, the beginning stages of their eyesight has completely been burnt out, completely been diminished because of this. Because, when little kids get on social media, they're staring like this. Yeah. And like, it's a point where, even recently I had to tell my little niece, like, no, step back. And she stepped all the way back. And I said, okay. We were playing with the filters. Yeah. And I said, step back. And she was like, okay. And I said, your eyes. She was like, okay, my eyes. And I said, okay. I said, stay right there. And she was like, okay. And even like with my other nieces and nephew, like one of my nephews, like, he's like right here. And then he goes, Mommy, I have a headache. And she's like, oh, well, just, find something on your device to look at. And then just goes in. No, he has a headache because his brain, like his eyes can't even process what's going on. That's the other dark side of social media.
I mean, it's the same thing with adults.
Yeah.
We tend to detach ourselves from our children, but those who work in offices all the time.
Yeah, and that's the other side.
The folks who sit on computers all the time.
Over.
The hunching, the one people who sit in front of the computer. I know so many people who have headaches from them. So if your child, if you as an adult can get a headache, What your child gonna do the same thing? It's a smaller version.
Yeah, they showed this
Exactly.
diagram a couple of weeks ago. I was following some page, and it goes back to you talking about it's a two part to this. This diagram of a lot of people and their spines beginning
Right,
to
with the
curve
curve, their
over,
neck curving.
and their neck is starting to hunch, and then they're having all these developmental issues. And kids, it's happening to them too, where they're not even. You see, like I literally was like, why is everybody so short? And for the life of me, I can't believe, like, why are some of these kids, like, I've never seen so many short people, like, no offense to anybody short, I do not have, but I've never
Vertically
seen
challenged.
so many vertically challenged people
Well,
in
like
my
you said, it's there. A
life.
lot of times it's posture.
Yeah.
So we are conforming to our devices instead of our devices being ergonomically done. And I know the UX designer and all the HelloFresh. I want you to just go ahead and speak on that.
Yeah, like that is a UX design type of solution. And there are products that are created for us to be able to enjoy our devices and, but it's not that comfortable. It's not that comfortable for some of us. It's not that sexy for some of us. For some of us, it's the last thing that we think about. But yeah, we're definitely, we are hunching over to look at our thing, or like, even with me, like, I wear glasses, and, if I like wake up in the morning and I need to see my phone, instead of me putting my glasses on to see my phone, this is so bad. Instead of
Like
me,
this.
yeah, I like have my glasses off and I'm like really closing the phone with one eye open so I can see.
Lord.
Not good at all, but
Yeah.
it's
But a lot of us are guilty of that.
yeah,
We
and
it's
all are.
important for us to talk about. I like the fact that we're talking not just about unplugging from the matrix, but the physical device. Because a lot of people are experiencing life vicariously through other people instead of going out into the real, actual world. Especially our youth. Like and really, we keep saying the youth and everything, but people are not meeting each other because they do so much interaction online, and it's not real interaction.
But you know what though? There might be some saving grace to that. Because where we went for our niece's birthday, it was like an arcade spot. And I remember those used to be all over the place in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then the 2000s came around and then you started to see a lot of them close. But now we're starting to see some like gathering spots again.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of a resurgence coming back where we're understanding that, we need each other. We need each
I
other
think COVID
in
helped
person.
a lot
COVID
of
helped.
that.
COVID
Yeah.
definitely,
COVID
yeah,
definitely did that for
absolutely.
us.
Because
COVID helped
people
with that.
realize the value of being around each other.
Yeah.
Because watching a sports game, whether it's basketball, football, or whatever, it's totally different being there.
Yeah. Yes.
I hear a lot of people are armed with social media, and they're armed with the internet and information. So you can learn all about things, but it's different when you're actually there. When you're actually in the presence of people. Like, for instance, a lot of people go on dating apps, and so many people date on the internet that they don't actually go on a date.
And
They
turn out to have one leg.
No shade
discrimination
to
against
one leg
athletic
people out
individuals.
Literally.
Say something.
This does not reflect any of the views of the people on
No,
the
but
views
honestly,
of
Cocktails and
Sunflower, the views of Sunflower Rose is not the views of the cast, production, or team here at Cocktails and Conversations LLC. Continue.
No, but it's important for us to actually get out into the real world, actually get out into nature, actually exercise, and not just watch someone else do it.
Yep.
The other thing is changing our behaviors when we return back. Like, a lot of times we are looking at the comments when we can change the atmosphere of the comments. When we can say something positive, or to just not look at them.
Yes. Yeah.
To disconnect from those negative associations. When we look at, man, I'm following 6,000 people and
They ain't
being
doing it.
followed by 17. Go right ahead.
I just had to do that too. Just like last week, I started purging some
Yes, I did.
folks I was following.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not even going to see all these people on your feed.
No,
on your
not at
timeline
all.
Anyway.
And then what's funny is out of all the things that you're following, the algorithm is choosing for what you see.
Yeah.
You don't even see your friends and family anymore, but you're seeing things that you know inside you're not interested in, and
Yeah.
it keeps popping up, this thing. And then one thing that really concerns me, because I was talking about it earlier, hinted at it, is the creators of these apps. They don't allow their children to use it. They don't use it. So it's almost like that drug dealer. He'll sell you the dope, but he ain't gonna smoke it.
Not smoking.
You ain't doing the impacts of it.
You know, so
Never
we really
get
have
high
to
on your own
supply. So we have to ask.
We do not
This is what's
promote the
being
use
supplied.
of drugs. We do not promote it.
What I wanted to say was I wrote down two things. So going into not knowing who's on your page, I remember I had maxed out my Facebook page at 5,000 people. I've been on Facebook since 2006. And it's 2023. That's like a whole couple, like a freaking doctorate and teaching degree. There's a whole couple of degrees that could have been, it's a whole nother high school,
That's a
five
whole
more
life.
times around high school.
That's a
4 more
life.
times around high school.
Yeah.
So it's like what I did one day, I literally, before I deactivated my Facebook, I have 116 friends. And I have people in my friends like requesting, and they just sitting there, and then they'll delete the request and come back 2 days later and then send it. I'm like, no, I see you. I'm not going to add you.
But I got
And-
this real good investment opportunity for you.
I want to connect. No, you just want to be nosy. The people that I have on my
Yeah.
page are people that I know genuinely love and care about me, and that I know like they're going to interact. But then at the same time, those are folks I want to see, but I only see the same 15 people. So I'm like, Lord, I just keep seeing my cousins. Outside of that, you said something earlier about interacting and stuff, and I was thinking about like one of my biggest, another pet peeve, Lord knows, but it's so much that around the phone and the tablets and stuff, watching kids on YouTube, watching kids play
On
with toys.
YouTube.
That crap right there drives me up the wall. Like my niece is like, yeah, no, my one of my nieces, she was like, yeah, so I be online just watching them play with like, they be watching them play with Play-Doh. And I'm like, but why? Like, you have a whole thing of Play-Doh in there. Well, it's not the same. So you're going to make money. You're going to help these people generate money by doing something, or people playing with Barbie dolls. And I'm like, but you have Barbie dolls in there that are unopened or have been touched once or twice. Or
got
the
found me
biggest
another
one
niche.
is kids playing video games. And I'm just like, yo,
You watch another kid play video games?
you gonna watch a whole nother kid play video games? Oh, I like when he does this part. What part? It's a video game. It's like, yeah. So social media has literally, to me, taken the interaction out of a lot of stuff. It has its pros, it has its cons. But Lord knows, I know that it's certain stuff that I just cannot click on. Like if I see political stuff or folks getting in arguments, like I don't even follow Shade Room, but I will go on there just to see, okay, what's going on. And as soon as I go on there and I'm seeing Fashion Nova models, I'm seeing this girl, Lucky Spice sure is toning up. Then we see Natalie Nunn on every, I'm like, okay, y'all are really like pushing it at this point.
Yeah.
Y'all are forcing people. Like, how many people y'all gonna keep forcing on us? And how many
Kelly
bad
Clarkson.
musicians?
Watch her.
It's like somebody said online, somebody said in Shade Room after somebody had posted the red girl, my blank brown, all that girl, that the rapper. Somebody said, so y'all just gonna keep force feeding us this content. And then he came back and he said, but here I am commenting on y'all force feeding the content.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want to keep seeing these people, but the stuff that they post, it's instant gratification for so many people. And folks feel like these people over here on social media are relatable.
But like we said,
It's
we said it's the feed.
Yeah.
They're
feeding you.
when you are on a farm and you're participating as a farm animal, you don't have a choice
They're not
in
participating.
what you're feeding. you understand what I'm saying? So we have to remember that we're not farm animals, and that we don't have to accept everything that's trying to be fed to us.
Exactly.
And with
so
that,
it's important with that. No, go ahead,
no,
my man.
no. I want to make
It's my time.
Yeah, I'm about to say
It's about that time.
He about to fall asleep. Eyes getting low. You lower than Snoop Dogg in a El Dorado.
That's low. Cause it's called a speedball. Cause he's high, but he's riding low.
Don't break down my analogy.
Speedballing. You don't know what it is?
Look it up.
Don't even look it up. Just stay away from it. Anywho, with that being said, any last words from
Here come a new name.
what's their names?
Scary and Baby Spice.
No. Weeping Willow and Trust Fund over here.
Trust Fund.
She's got all the money.
Lord have mercy.
Any last words? Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata, and happy detachment. Detach, break away. It's okay. It's healthy. You know, it keeps you sane.
Let that device die and lose the charger. That is all.
Well, I'm going to end it off, and I'm going to say something, and Tim's going to end this off. My suggestive thing with detachment is there's two major words that we have to have in our life. That's balance and discipline. Balance, to be able to go through these things, to be able to go to these things, do what you need to do, leave. If you take it as a break, take the break, but give yourself a time. The discipline of it is to use it for a proper function and during a certain time period. Like you said, I said earlier, time is not on our side, but then you corrected me by saying that it is when it's properly being used. The balance and the discipline of using time will either prolong your life and advance it or hinder it and shorten it.
Yeah, that's true.
With that being said, for the darkness, take us to some light.
I'm going to go ahead and bring some light on this thing. If you like this podcast and you would like to hear more, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm not going to get all deep and think I can top anybody on this. No, we really enjoyed you guys coming out. Thanks to our producers with their miscellaneous names. But for those of y'all, thank you for not detaching from our show.
Right. I need you to catch some people on this thing.
But honestly, if you need to, take that time. Take that time to. And be who you really are. Love yourself. Love God. And we'll see you next time. Tell somebody that's going to tell somebody, and enjoy us for next time. Cocktails and Conversations. I'll holla. Peace.
Peace.
This is Tim Hargrove, known as Nuba. Tune in for Cocktails and Conversations Friday, 7 p.m. on all streaming platforms. Subscribe, like, and tell somebody.